Welcome to the Wealthy Expat channel. We help entrepreneurs and investors just like you lower your taxes, get a second residence, second citizenship, improve the freedom in your life. In this video, let's talk about finding a tax advisor, specifically an international tax advisor that would help you lower your taxes down to zero or close to zero as possible while doing everything properly in order to avoid fees, problems, and even legal trouble later on. I have experience finding tax advisors specifically for US citizens. Since I'm a US citizen, I've done it myself. I've created companies abroad, gotten a second citizenship, and all of these needs careful planning as well as all the reporting that I need to do. But I've also helped people in other countries like Australia, UK, and Canada find tax advisors in their own country. I see many mistakes and many people making mistakes. The first one of them being that they trust these huge companies that have big advertising budgets and that typically do tax advice or tax preparation for low-income people. They're typically the ones that help expats leave their home country. In the case of US citizens, no matter if you leave, you need to file taxes, but they typically help people that make 40 grand a year, 50 grand a year, maximum 100 grand a year. If you're making millions, or if you're worth millions, or even in the billions, I know a couple of people watching this channel, they're on their way to become billionaires through crypto, through investing, through their business. If you're on that track, you can't really trust the big companies. In the case of the US, it would be things like Turbotax or H&R Block. These companies are made to help the low-income earners, the people that are living abroad but don't know how to do their taxes, but they only make 30 grand a year, so they don't really need to pay taxes. That's what those companies are made for, and obviously for helping people domestically. But when you're looking at high net worth tax preparation and finding a tax prepared tax advisor, there are a lot of things that you need to consider. Sometimes, for example, you might need to file a form when you leave your country of residence, or in the case of the US, if you have a bank account in another country, you need to report that back to the US. If you do it incorrectly, you might need to pay thousands of dollars in fees. So you want to avoid all of that. I paid some tax advisors $1,000 an hour, $2,000 an hour, sometimes $10,000 for them to help me with simple problems. But it's worth it because I know that if I don't do it right, I'm gonna pay $25,000 in fees later. So what are the steps in order to find a great tax advisor that will help you do everything properly? The first thing that I would do, as ironically as this sounds, I would go to your local tax authority in your country. In the case of the US, the IRS. Case of Australia, ATO, the UK, Canada, whichever country we're talking about, your particular country in Europe, let's say Switzerland, or whatever your tax authority is in your country, and look at the contacts and the accountants or their particular network that they have in the country where you're looking at going. As ironically as it sounds, sometimes authorities like this, like the IRS, they have people in Dubai. They have people in the Middle East, they have people in the Caribbean, they have people in Asia. That might be really helpful. For example, when I was looking for somebody in Dubai, I looked at the IRS accountant list of their network in Dubai and actually found 6 phone numbers. I called every single one of those phone numbers, around 2 or 3 didn't work. A 4th one was in Egypt, and then a 5th one was actually in Dubai, but he was just a personal assistant, not a real tax advisor. He was just a random guy that knew a little bit about taxes. That guy ended up connecting me to another guy. That other guy ended up connecting me to the tax advisor that I actually use right now. So you can go down the rabbit hole, ask different people that come from that contact list at your local authority. You could even call them. In the case of the IRS, it's almost impossible to get in contact with them. Unless you owe taxes, they're gonna find you. But if you actually go and try to find their network, or you ask them for tax advisors in different places, tax advisors that focus on helping people leave your particular country and do it properly, sometimes you might find really good accountants and really good contacts there. That's the first thing that I would do, just to cover your bases and just to see if your particular authority has people in other countries. The second thing that I would do is I would network with other entrepreneurs and investors that are at a similar level than you, or even higher levels, and ask them who does their taxes. Obviously, as I run a multi-7-figure business and I also help people with this particular business lower their taxes, move to other countries, I do a lot of crypto, I meet a lot of different people that have really high net worths, that run big businesses, and I always ask them, what tax advisor do you use? Who do you get for your taxes? What kind of company you use for your taxes? Asking other people, joining communities, joining masterminds. I'm part of a couple of masterminds that cost a lot. They cost 20, 25, 30 grand a year. But in those masterminds, obviously you learn about business, you learn about investing, but you also get contacts that could help you with tax preparing. If you ask, for example, I'm in a group of about 558 people, they all make over 250 grand a year. If I put a post there, what tax advisor do you use? What tax planning do you use? There's gonna be like 50 comments and networking opportunities there of people that prepare taxes and help as tax advisors. So I highly recommend you join these different masterminds. You talk to people that not necessarily are tax advisors. For example, I'm not a legal attorney, I'm not a tax advisor, I'm not registered in any of that, but I have the experience that a person needs in order to register a company in another country, in order to get tax residence in another country, to get citizenship. Talk to people like me. I don't care if it's me. You can talk to anybody you want on YouTube, but start building your network of people that could potentially lead you to the person that is going to become your tax advisor. The third thing that I would do is start networking in different tax hubs. Dubai, Malta, Portugal, Cayman Islands, Singapore, whatever it is. Even if you don't live in any of those places, start building a network in those places because most people are there trying to lower their taxes. Most people that are living in Dubai are not here because they love the Muslim world. They're here because the tax rates are zero and because it's a really cool place to live. And you can ask them, what did you do to lower your taxes down to zero? What did you do to lower your taxes down in Germany and then come here to Dubai and live in Dubai? How do you deal with your German tax system? How do you deal with your US citizenship in Dubai or living in Dubai? So all these questions, you start building a network here, knowing people. You could go to crypto events. There's tons of them. For example, in the next couple of days, there's going to be a huge Bitcoin mining event. In the next couple of weeks, there's going to be a crypto expo event in the Expo 2020 in Dubai. Tons of crypto events, tons of entrepreneur meetups, and you want to go to these different hubs where people go for taxes and then meet these people and then ask them if they have tax preparers or people that they could recommend you. The fourth thing that I would do, I would look at expat focused tax services, but I would be very careful when you approach these. For example, if you're a US citizen, you're an expat, you might have come across Greenback tax services or taxes for expats. They're great, but usually they're helping people that make 40, 50 grand a year that don't owe any tax. What you need to do is you need to tell them your specific situation. I'm worth 5 million in crypto. I have a business that makes 25 million a year and I want to register it somewhere else, let's say Dubai, and I want to lower my taxes that way. What do I need to do? Most of them, in my experience, because I've actually talked to a lot of them, they will say, we don't really know, but we're going to get you someone that can help you with this. And then they get you this random person, this random tax advisor. You call them, you pay for their time, maybe $500 for 30 minutes, and you see if they're legit. If they start talking vaguely about what you need to do, they don't really talk about the specific forms you need to file or the specific things you need to do, then you probably know, okay, this guy's maybe Googling what I need to do or just Googled it before the interview. Maybe it's better to actually ask them deep questions. If they tell you the details, if they know what they're talking about, if you see that there's a good chemistry and good professional chemistry between you, then that's a person that might become your tax advisor later. So the same thing applies for Australians, Canadians, let's say services that help you leave Canada and go to another country. You want to talk to all these people and see if they know what they're talking about when it comes to your particular situation. Because if you just find a random accountant, random tax advisor in Canada that helps people leave Canada if they're worth $50,000, if you're worth $5 million, you might need to pay an exit tax, or you probably will pay an exit tax. The process to leave will be very hard. They're going to make it hell on you in order to get out of Canada, so you need the right tax advisor in order to help you through that process. And the last note that I want to give you here is don't be afraid to pay for advice. This is a very expensive industry. I paid $2,000, $1,000 per hour, sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes to talk to some of these people because they have the experience that the other 99% of tax advisors don't have. Tax advisors in the US typically don't help people that live outside of the US. The tax advisor that's helping me, he lives in Dubai. He's been living in the Middle East for years and he knows the tax system here as well as the US tax system. And for people like that, you're gonna need to shell out a lot of money. So expect to pay between $10,000 and $20,000 just to get the right information that you need in order to lower your taxes. If you're making $5 million a year, and you can't pay 20 grand to get the right information, you're never gonna really lower your taxes properly, or you might make some mistakes that'll cost you 50 grand later on, might get your business in trouble, even legal trouble. So we need to really dot the I's, cross the T's, be very careful with absolutely everything that you do. In this business, you will pay a lot of money for it, but it's definitely going to be worth it if you do it right, because then you can actually lower your taxes, you're not gonna have problems, you can leave your residence country properly and go to another country like Dubai, like the UAE, Cayman Islands, whatever it is that you want to choose. Don't be afraid to pay Find YouTubers like me. I don't care if it's me. I don't care if it's other people, maybe from the US, from Canada, UK, whatever. Pay for their time, pay for their service, get their contacts, get those contacts to give you other contacts and improve your network and your people that help you with everything just like that. If you want help with all of this, you want me to make the process easier, you want me to help you lower your taxes, get a second citizenship, second residence, doing it all properly in the fastest way possible, go to wealthyexpat.com/apply. Book a one-on-one call with me. Let's go over your specific situation, what you need to do in order to lower your taxes and how to do it the best way, and obviously give you the network that I have in order to help you with everything. And if you want to find out what are the best places to lower your taxes and how to pay 0% tax, what are the best countries all over the world where you can pay less taxes, click the video that is going to pop up right here in this square, top 10 countries with 0% tax, as well as capital gains 0% tax. Check it out. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave me your comments down below, any questions that you have, hit that like button. I will see you on the next video.